What's up YouTube? It's JB Tech Fanatic and I'm back again with another video. As always, I want to start this video by thanking each and every one of you for joining me today. I would be absolutely honored if you would consider hitting that subscribe button. Don't forget to mash the thumbs up if you like this video. And if you want to be notified when the latest videos come out, don't forget to click the notification bell. Today, I got something I'm pretty excited about. I have the all-new Samsung Tab S4. Now, this is the LTE edition. If you pay attention to technology, you know that Samsung announced a lot of great products, including the Note 9. I have that on pre-order. Hopefully, I'll have that soon. But today, the Tab S4 is something I actually did not know if we would see. And the reason why I say that is the tablet market has changed. It's hard to believe it was in 2011 that I actually bought my first tablet, which is the Motorola Xoom. Now, this at the time was a monster. I thought it was beautiful, and this thing is a relic. It's heavy, the screen is awful, the touchscreen is terrible on it, and through the time, it just kept getting better. But in addition to getting better, everyone thought that laptops were going to disappear. At this time, tablets were dominating the market. And I could see why. They're really cool. I mean, you're holding a screen in your hand, and if you're my age or even older, you know that we kind of grew up dreaming about stuff like this. You know, Star Trek and all these, sci-fi movies or shows kind of showed us this in the future look, but they actually came to fruition and it made it great. So the Tab S4 is here, and I also have Samsung's Windows tablet. Now, the reason why I have this here is because this is a tablet that I love. I use it daily. I actually, I have two different versions of it, but this is the Galaxy Book with the i5 processor. Now, Windows versus Android. It's not the same as when you think of it as Android versus Apple, because I think that Apple and Android, though they're completely different companies and they, honestly hate each other's guts, they are a similar product as far as how you use apps and all of that aspect. The Windows tablet is a business tool, in my opinion. It's not as fun as an iPad or an Android tablet, but for getting work done, I feel that the Windows tablet is the way to go. In addition to that, another problem that I found happening with tablets was you had to upgrade them every year. Well, the prices of these are very expensive. So the Tab S4 from Verizon, I paid $750 with it. If you take into consideration, their activation fees and all of this nonsense, it gets very expensive. So when they start coming out with tablets left and right, we don't know which one to buy, or if you buy this one at the end of its cycle and you spent $1,000 on it, well, now the new one's out, and then in a year they stop sending it updates. That was a huge problem for me, because you can get maybe 3 years out of a laptop for a normal person, maybe 4, but on a tablet, really, you're lucky to get 2. So I think the consumers started to realize that maybe tablets were not what they wanted to invest their hard-earned dollar. Now, I say that because obviously you don't see a lot of these released anymore. Absolutely, the iPad does very well, but again, extremely expensive. And then there's Samsung, and I'm talking high-end tablets. Now, you can find the, $200 to $400 tablets all day long, but in my opinion, you just have way too many problems with those because the RAM is just not there. 1 gig of RAM, 2 gigs of RAM just doesn't cut it. Then the next step is the screen. When it comes to screens, Samsung kills it. Sorry, Apple lovers, I know that they make a great tablet, but when it comes to screens, bar none, Samsung is the way to go, and the Tab S4 is right up there. And if I might be bold in saying this, but as far as Android tablets go, this is the best Android tablet screen I've ever seen. So, is it worth your money? Well, Samsung, is introducing this more as a business tool. Now, the reason why, again, I'm going back to I have my Windows tablet here is because I don't think of Android as a business tool. I don't think of Apple as a business tool. Now, I've noticed a lot of companies have integrated Apple tablets into their companies, or, sometimes you see Android tablets, but usually this is done because they have been sold the product to their company. They get deals and they get their software put on there. But guys, let's be honest. If you're going to do work and you need to do spreadsheets or, Word, Excel, what is better to do it on than a Windows product? So, they took laptops, they started to take off in sales again, and then boom, they thought, okay, let's make tablets that are laptops that run Windows. Now, what's the benefit to that? Well, the benefit is with Windows, you always get updates. I mean, if a new Windows comes out, you can actually buy the Windows. If Samsung decides to stop supporting their tablet and it's Android and you're on 4.1, well, that's it. You're on 4.1. You're never going to get anything better. So hopefully going forward, they have realized that the consumers want something that can last them at least a couple years when they're going to spend this dollar amount. The next thing is the keyboard. Now, I did not get the keyboard with this because I just don't really, I have the keyboard with my Tab S2. And guys, these keyboard cases are a fortune. $150 for the Tab S4. Is it worth it? In my opinion, no. Why? Because you can use any Bluetooth keyboard if you'd like. You could still add a mouse if you would like. And they have done something beautiful this year. They've included the S Pen, which in addition to the S Pen, they went to USB Type-C. They got the 4 speakers. They just did a beautiful job. So let's take a quick look inside of the box. Now, one thing I have noticed that I don't like right off the bat is they're not sealing these boxes anymore. And again, this is the 4G one. They might, the Wi-Fi, I have not opened the Wi-Fi one. And they're, they kind of skip the plastic covering. So you basically get this nice, it's real silky. Just kind of set that off to the side. And then what do we get? We get the S Pen, which is a big bonus because, Apple charges, I think, $100 for their pen. So that is a great bonus. And though it is, like a Note pen, it feels much better in the hand. It's bigger. And then, of course, you get your USB Type-C, some pins, and then your charger. Let's do a quick comparison of the pins. So this is the Windows tab, and this is the Tab S4. If you can get in there, if we could see that. They're both very nice pens. And I know you guys are still wondering why I'm showing both of these. And I'm just trying to help you make a decision. Not everybody wants to go out and buy a Windows tablet and an Android tablet because we work hard for our money and this stuff gets expensive. So the goal is today is to look at this and see if it's worth it for you to get. Now, all glass, so likely you're going to want a case. But I will say, guys, they went back to the 10.5-inch screen. I'm very ecstatic about that. And I'll be honest, it is absolutely gorgeous. And the only issue, again, fingerprints. I mean, I already got fingerprints all over, but this is beautiful. Now, really quickly, before we turn this on, and we're going to look at it, I'm going to take this out here. Now, again, this runs the i5 processor. This is the Windows tablet. Both beautiful. Let's see if we can. Just really beautiful tablets. Okay, couple gripes before we turn it on. Yes, they went with the 845 processor. Or sorry, they did not go with the 845. They went with the 835, which is last generation's processor. They gave us 4 gigs of RAM. The battery is 7300 mAh, 64 gigs of storage. You could put a micro SD card up to, believe, 400. Little trick to that, guys. I've noticed that all these phones and tablets, when it comes to Samsung, when they say they have a max of, some of them used to say they had a max of, 128. Then the bigger micro SD cards came out. I put them in and they worked fine. So again, it says 400. They are releasing their 512. So I would bet money that that will work on this tablet. Another thing that this tablet does very well, guys, is it's got killer Wi-Fi speeds on it. It supports 802.11n, 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, ABGN and AC with MIMO support. They are saying usage time up to 20 hours, standby time 22.9 days. Again, the screen 10.5 inch with a PPI of 287, and that is 2056 by 1600. And we think that, or actually, when I say we, me and my friends were talking about this, but I think that this tablet is going to be something special. And when I say that, I'm talking about fun, beauty, and just overall likability. And I will say one thing. For some reason, when I hold this in my hand, let's go ahead and power this on, it really just feels like the future to me. I don't know what it is, but it feels just beautiful. So I'm going to put my information in, and then we'll jump back in. Okay, so Tab S4 on the left, and then we got the Samsung Galaxy Book to the right. I'm just kind of showing you a comparison side by side. Now, very quickly, one more time so you can kind of see the S Pens are kind of very similar. But what I want to show you guys is how beautiful and snappy that the Tab S4 is. So again, the screen is just superb, but I'm going to show you what I was talking about, the Wi-Fi being so fast. Let's just open, look at that. It's so instant. It's nuts. Look at that. So whatever they've done here, they've done a very good job. Another thing, guys, is as you can see, there is no buttons. Again, I said that. So that means there is no fingerprint reader. So you have to use either the iris scanner or the facial unlock, or of course a password or PIN. Not a big deal. I would rather, have the nice bezels than have, a fingerprint reader on the bottom. I guess they could have put it on the back, but for whatever reason, they decided not to. But guys, it's just snappy. Everything about it. It just shows no lag whatsoever. The S Pen also, let me just show you up close really quick how, if you do kind of open this up, it just writes so nice. It's just like writing on paper. Samsung just does such a good job with this. I don't think, Microsoft or Apple can compete with the S Pen. So this is another benefit to this tablet is, again, the S Pen. And again, it comes with it. But definitely just a beautiful tablet. Now, I have to say something. This is absolutely beautiful. Wow. Stunning. Now, I took some time to play around with it, and even though it has the 835 processor with 4 gigs of RAM, I want you to think about the RAM a little bit. So we've kind of gotten caught up on RAM because we think about laptops, but if you think about Android tablets, like my Motorola Zoom down there, which had 1 gig. And most low-end tablets have 1.5 gigs. And then the high-end tablets, when they started to come out, like the 12.2 Note tablet that Samsung had 3 gigs. So when you think of it that way, 4 gigs in an Android tablet is quite a bit. Now, of course, I'm a tech person. I would love to have more, but I don't think you should let that stop you from purchasing this, because what I have found playing with this is it is really, really fast and fluid, and I think that this is going to be a killer tablet. Now, let's talk about a few things. One, I like the fact that they kept a camera on the back, they put the camera on the front, and they didn't just give you a 1 megapixel camera. So on the front, it is a 8 megapixel, and on the back, you get a 13 megapixel shooter. Now, what I noticed when I went to the camera settings is that you can actually record in ultra high definition, so that is pretty cool for a tablet. And then, of course, the front facing is great for video chat, Skype, so you get all that. Now, the S Pen. The S Pen functionality works just like the phone does. You get the little bar here. You could do the live messaging. It writes really, really nice. I think that is great that they brought the S Pen on board. In addition to that, if you have the LTE version, you can use messaging apps along with, if you have Verizon Wireless, Verizon Messenger allows you to actually link it for video chat. That's pretty awesome. Then the biggest thing that they are talking about is they built in Samsung DeX. Now, Samsung DeX is actually a pull down item. So initially I was looking for an app, but when you're up here in the pull down menu, again, this thing works just like a cell. So all I did was turn it on, put in my information, it logged me into my Google account, I logged into my Samsung account, and it put all my apps on there for me. It didn't take long, but pull down from the top, you have Dolby Atmos. Guys, what's great about this is it's got quad speakers. So you got a speaker, a speaker, a speaker, and a speaker. 4 speakers with Dolby Atmos. I did put on a pair of headphones. Wow, it sounded spectacular. So I was, threw on a movie. But back to Samsung DeX. You pushed Samsung DeX, and the tablet opened Samsung DeX. Now, this is for the business person or anyone that wants a kind of a Windows-like experience. But see, this is where I kind of go back to why not just go for a Windows tablet. But again, Android tablet, you want it, you sync it, you got your DeX, there's nothing to plug it into, no dock, you start it up, and there you go. You got your DeX experience. Now, I didn't, go through the full, every little last thing here, but what I find is it looks exactly like it does on my phone. Everything works fast, fluid. Again, you got the S Pen and then the dock and keyboard system. So the dock, you can actually put this into like a dock mode. I think it's called like the Pogo dock, or I don't know, I might be wrong. I'll throw a picture of it up here so you can see it and correct myself in the writing. I like to do that because I'm not the smartest person in the world. All right, I'm kidding. But DeX, great. Then if you want to get out of DeX, now here's the thing. I was like, how do you get out of this thing? You basically want to click on the DeX experience through the settings here, and you want to exit out and then go back into tablet mode. Otherwise, you feel like you're stuck, because a big thing that I did not mention is there's no buttons. I mean, there's the volume button, there's the on and off button, but there is no button, especially as you notice in DeX mode. I can't get out. But these are the apps you can download, if you could see these in the camera. If not, I will throw some screenshots. But you hit settings, you'll see DeX right at top, and you see on. Just shut that off, and DeX will exit itself out. Now, if I was to tell you guys today, should you buy this tablet? I would say ask yourself a couple questions. 1, what's your budget? $750, that's a lot of cash. 2, is DeX something that you really, really want and need for business? If the answer to that is yes, I'm going to say grab yourself this tablet right here. But if you want something for media, multimedia, right? Music, YouTube, Netflix, Vudu, whoever, Amazon, this is the way to go. The reason why I say that is the only app I find that works good on a Windows tablet is, as far as viewing goes, is Netflix. I use HBO Go. You can't get an app on a Windows tablet for that. So what I find myself doing is, you're going through Google Chrome and then you're watching it through your browser, and I don't like it, if I'm being honest with you. It just doesn't have as much control. So as far as viewing goes, this is just crisp. If you notice, they really took the bezel down. Now, you might say, why don't they go bezel-less? On a tablet, you don't want that. Where are you going to hold it at if you do that? So the bezel that is here is perfect. You could go landscape mode or portrait. The speakers, they sound great. And you know what we'll do is I will throw on just something real quickly. I hate this, copyright stuff. They're so tight about everything. But why don't we go to... Let's see. All you're going to hear is the Xbox. So, go to the app. The app looks like this. I hope this focuses in. You're going to touch your speaker. Now, obviously, you're not going to be able to hear it. You're going to go to settings, and then there's an audio settings, okay? Now, honestly, for a tablet, probably the best I've heard coming straight out of a tablet. I use headphones a lot when I'm using my tablet at night. But, guys, this is beautiful. It's well built. It's actually very snappy. It is the best Android screen I've seen so far. The price is a little high. It comes in Wi-Fi and LTE. It does have expandable storage. It does have quad speakers. It has a beautiful high-resolution screen. It does have a dock that you don't have to connect through Wi-Fi. It does have an S Pen. I say buy it. If you want a tablet for fun, this is the tablet. I'm going to continue to use this. I'll do an update video after I get a good feel of it. But today, looking at it, I would give this tablet an 8 out of 10. The 2 points I'm docking it for, I would have loved to see 6 gigs of RAM. And of course, I would have loved to see this sit about the $500 price range. But that's just what I think. Let me know what you think. I am so absolutely honored that you've been here today. Guys, remember, life is so short. Don't forget to love your family, love your neighbors, take care of each other. Go out and do something good for someone today. We are the only thing on this planet that can change the evil world that is taking place. Go out and just do something good. I'm JB Tech Fanatic. I want to thank you guys. If you have any questions at all, I'm here for you. Reach me in the comments section. You can also find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at JB Tech Fanatic. I have a lot of new videos coming, including the Note 9 video, depending on when you watch this. I'm really excited about that phone. We'll talk about that more then. But until then, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.